Storage fees, what kind of range you think it will go up by? 10%, 20%?
Again, I don't say they go up, I don't see them softening.
So at the very least they will hold?
But at least we count on, let's say, the coming years, at least not softening of rates.
Okay. Just that fee that has been quoted very often, that's $5.50 per square feet per month, right? Is that the going rate?
I don't know. We charge our rates at a cubic meter price.
Per meter, okay.
And it really differs on the segments you're charging to, okay. and also on.
And those rates have been very stable for a number of years.
No. They have been increasing quite a bit over the last few years.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the prospects for next year, not only are your tanks expanding, but some of the other companies are also starting up their terminals. What do you think will happen next year? Will we have a price war, or will we see rates at least hold steady?
We were worried about that 2-3 years ago when we started our expansions here. At that time we took the approach of having long-term contracts. What we see now that the long-term contracts are the lowest paying contracts. So you see that actually the market has put up, let's say, has been brought up quite a bit. We don't see happening on our side because we have these long-term contracts that will immediately go up, and we believe that we want to develop that with our key customers worldwide, and these are long-term relationships and not only always limited to Singapore, but we also look for companies where we can do this with in Rotterdam, where we can do this with in Singapore, where we can do this with in Fujairah, where we can do this in several strategic locations in the world. And that's where we want to develop the market with, and that's going to be our commercial approach to the market.
Yeah. That will also give you an advantage over some of the new competitors that you're going to face, right? Because those companies are.
I only hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Because you're dealing on a global basis.
we can at least from a global point of view offer things which the other ones can't. And that's for us an interesting proposal, and that's where we work on with our company to really position ourselves as the global player who can help customers on a worldwide basis, giving the same level of service and really operate in a partnership, and that's what we want to do.
Right. The other thing also is that some of your customers are going to become storage operators and owners. How will that affect your relationship with them? On the one hand, they can be competitors. On the other hand, they can also continue to be your clients. Right?
I don't know. It's going to be difficult to really look at a global partnership for companies who are setting up their own facilities. But even that would be possible, because you could also say, listen, if they have in a certain market a certain volume, and they think they can do a better job, then why would we limit them? But of course, that puts our partnership on a different level. But we at the moment we see enough interest. We think that the interest will be structurally there, and there are still quite a few partners who say, listen, this is not my job, and what we see happening worldwide is really that you see these national oil companies or players who are very long-term committed because they are linked in the production side. We see them very willing to start up these partnerships, and these are the customers we're going to concentrate on. And what the future will bring us in that respect, or what will bring it to the traders who try to build up some of their own facilities, is to be seen in the future. We will not start limiting them to use our facilities. We will see them as a customer. Sure. But that's not the real long-term strategic partnership we have with maybe some other players.
Singapore is going to build this rock cabin, and it's quite widely known that vopak is keen to manage that. How advanced are you in talks with the government of Singapore towards becoming a manager of the underground storage?
I think they control that process, and it's. We shown our interest. There has been a request for proposal, but we're going to be let's say at least applying for that to make sure we're interested. It's very near to our Banyan facility. I think there's synergies to be made. The caverns are just below our jetties on the Banyan facilities, so
you've got an advantage there.
We should be able to give them a good proposal, and that's what we're working on.
Right. And of course, if you do get this contract, It will be a first for you, right? Do you manage?
No, we operate some caverns at
in Asia,
our
in Asia.
In Asia, yes,
Yeah,
in Asia
this
it
will be
is.
the first.
Yeah, but in Asia it would be the first. But we operate caverns in Sweden as well and in Norway. So as such, it's not a new phenomenon to us.
Okay. Floating storage. That's the other topic that the JTC folks are talking about. Does that interest you?
We always like to cooperate in new ways of looking at storage, because storage is our world, it's our core business, and we very much look at innovations to see whether that makes sense or not. And with the EDB we are discussing these. We also bring in our knowledge. We have always had a very good cooperation in that respect, and we need to look at all kind of ways to do that. And if we can be a forerunner there, then we will definitely. That's how we committed ourselves to the tank storage industry.
Do you foresee the possibility of storage futures coming up as an instrument of trade for people in the future?
Maybe. I mean, never say never, but that's it's still far away with a lot of local players and everything in it. So I don't think the volume is yet there to really go and issue these things.
Okay. I'm going to talk about Australia now. You have just started up. You have a fairly new terminal in Darwin.
Yes.
How's that coming along?
That's coming along pretty good actually. It's running perfectly for the diesel and the gasoline there. We're now expanding with facilities there as well, because in the Northern Territories you also have some, let's say, the mining industry, which is quite strong. So for the assets there and the gasoline, we're also putting in some storage. And we have put in storage for the biofuels project, which is there. So that also we have expanded quite a bit there, and it's running very well.
You plan to expand the oil capacity in Darwin?
When the opportunity is there, we will definitely expand.
Okay, right.
And grow with our customers.
Right. Now, one last thing about your company. I've noted the share price of your company has tripled the last 3 years. That's very impressive growth. What would you attribute that success to?
I think as a management we've put in, as a whole company, I think we've put in quite some efforts in getting more out of our assets, and I think we're doing our best there. So we have our excellence and growth plans there in order. And with the present market and the appreciation for let's say infrastructure and strategic assets worldwide, we've gained a lot of attention from the financial world, and putting these things together, doing as a management or as a company the right things, as well as the appreciation of the worldwide financial world. Then you will see then it would be logic to see your share price going up. It's not always a one-to-one connection there.
Do you think it's a handicap to be listed in the Netherlands instead of, say, a financial center like London or New York? Something that
no, I don't see. I don't. No, not at all. No.
Probably even go higher if you had a listing in one of the big financial centers.
I don't know. We get a lot of attention from London and New York, from the investing world. So I don't see that as a disadvantage. If you are listed in these kind of areas, you also have a lot of competition from other funds. So and as we are not a real, let's say, part of the big boys yet, we are very happy in Amsterdam, and people who are interested in infrastructure, definitely strategic infrastructure, know where to find us, know our company, and know what it's worth.
Do you think your company would be a good target for a big American player or some of the big players who are, as you mentioned, into infrastructure investments? Some of the companies are, like they own pipelines, they own tanks in North America. They say that a vopak would fit in quite nicely. Do you think that scenario is getting real?
I think definitely these kind of companies will look at our company. But what we can do as a management is make sure we have a high share price, so we get the right value for our shareholders as well. And we also have one, let's say, very much committed shareholder who owns around 46%. So
it's a Dutch company.
Also, he has to, at least as a shareholder, has to agree to that. So far, we as a management are not constantly looking behind our backs what is happening. And if real good proposals are there in the market, they will find their way. So let's see what happens. For the moment, we don't see any reason to look at these developments.
On that note, thank you so much, John Paul. This is a good interview.
You're welcome.